But
Mm,
this morning when I rolled over and I grabbed my phone, I received an email um, that I didn't. I appreciate the email. It didn't give me the results that I was looking for.
okay.
And I got up and I went to the gym. Right? It was one of those kind of emails where it's like you need to expend some energy. I went to the gym. And what I said to myself, I thought about our conversations and I said, that was a rep.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, Garen, okay, all right, that was a rep. You took a step. These were the results. You took that step. Before you wouldn't have taken a step. You're good. Let's do it again. Let's keep trending forward. And as I went into the gym, I didn't lift angrily. I just lifted calmly. And I'm like, that was a rep, man. You did well. Let's go. I don't know what's gonna happen next, but I do know that I'm one step further. And I appreciate that. So when you talk about finding peace, in the past, I would have beat myself up for messing that up or getting these results. But now it's deep breath. That was a rep. Keep
Mm.
going.
I like
So,
that.
um, uh, this concept that Isaac talked about earlier, I think you and I mentioned as well in other conversations of betting on yourself,
Hmm.
is I think what holds most people back. Um, the concept of having unfiltered confidence in myself to produce what's necessary to meet the obligations of life to create joy is a bold assertion on one's power, right? And as Isaac has talked about how he has gotten to this place, and Isaac, while we were heading towards a close here, but I do want you to talk about how you were able to get to the place where you could manage the peace of your life, because I think that's a great concept. So start preparing for that. Um, but this concept, Garen, of saying to myself, I, James English, possess everything needed
Yeah.
to go and to live life to the fullest by my standards
Hmm.
and perhaps your a higher power that you believe in, a combination of the two. Whatever that is, I possess without limitations the ability to do that. That is not a common belief system of most people. Would you agree with that?
I agree.
Would you agree with that, Isaac?
I would agree.
So to know that everybody lives, not everybody, the people that are in that more limited space live under a constricted vision of who they are,
Hmm.
regardless of title. You could be president of the United States. If you live in this box of restriction,
Hmm.
right? Perhaps you only got to that position because of everybody your family knew, right? Or some other relationships you had. Perhaps the fulfillment even of that isn't what you thought it would be. The freedom we're talking about is a freedom to know that within yourself,
Hmm.
you are enough to look at the world around you and to say, I can go out and create enough to handle the tactical every day, to take care of my kids, to put a roof over my head, food in my stomach, and have enough left over to fund joy,
Hmm.
to fuel myself, is a absolutely transformative concept.
It's awareness. That's what I see. It's a level of awareness that comes. I mean, you talked about it took you X amount of years to get here. You shared your past 20 years
Hmm.
that it took you to get here to
Yeah.
this place. It's a level of awareness. I was just speaking to someone this morning. His name is Rick, and he's in his 50s, and he talked about how um, I think we were discussing Solomon from the Bible, right? And when Sheba, the Queen of Sheba, came
Mm,
to see him,
yeah.
and she was so overwhelmed of just how everything was just precise and in place. And we were talking about what is it like to walk into a space with a level of confidence, a level of presence where you are at peace, you know who you are. And this gentleman Rick was saying that as he looks at his son, he wishes that he could impart the wisdom that he knows now in his 50s to his son,
Yep.
who's much younger. And he said he wished that he had that measure of confidence back then when he
Yep.
was 30 or 20. And I think he also works in healthcare. And I asked him, I said, what would have been different if you had this wisdom back then? What would you have done differently? And he says, well, if I had just known that I was this person, I would have walked into rooms and I wouldn't have cared about the titles, just like how you were talking about. He wouldn't care about having all these things. So the question, so I think what we're doing is we're helping people find this awareness earlier in the game. Would you say that?
Yeah.
So that they can live a life like you, Isaac, where you're talking about just having fun, having peace, but much earlier. I think we'll get to see and experience people in a whole new light much earlier in life, as opposed to this mid-season, this halftime that we're all at, when we're looking back and reflecting and saying, I wish we had.
Yeah. So there's a bigger thing here too. And it's something that was important to me as this concept of doing all of this came to me. Garen, I've shared a little bit of this with you. This is therapy for me. This is something I never thought I would be doing, given my personality, but it has proven to be, through a season of absolute transformation in every single way, top to bottom, an outlet, a healthy outlet where I get a chance to recognize something within myself. But another point to something you just said, we're now giving people living, breathing examples of what we're talking about. There are people out here doing what Isaac is doing because Isaac's doing it. There are people out here who are trying to truly find that peace.
Yeah.
And the more we show examples that people are doing it, with smiles on their faces, right? With absolute joy, who have the picture of their Corvette behind them on the wall, right? And are talking about, living life to the fullest and traveling and doing all the things that, many find to be rewarding. To know that it's not just an abstract concept. This brother is not saying, and Isaac is not saying it from being, having a multi-billion-dollar construction firm,
Yeah.
having lived out a lifelong dream. He's saying it from a place where he's still building,
Yeah.
he's still learning, he's still grinding, he's still discovering. And to know that you can do both, be happy and be on the journey at the same time.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Come on, man. Like
Yeah.
that's completely, again, game changing.
Yeah.
Joy and discovery, joy and fulfillment, joy and struggle, joy and financial gaps, joy and question marks, joy and I don't know, joy and I don't know, joy and I don't care that I don't know,
Yeah.
joy and I'm on the journey because I'm committed to myself,
Yeah. Yeah.
joy and I know that I'm enough so that whatever comes next, I can handle it because I am enough.
Man, Isaac, I hope you are, I mean, you may have been here already, but I hope you received that, man, because oftentimes people think they have to get to a certain point to then say, I've made it. I have value in these words that I'm sharing with you. And what James is articulating is that right now, like today, this day, where you are is a point, right? Where someone is trying to get to. And so when you speak, and you're probably doing this already, man, speak from that place with confidence that this is a place that somebody's really trying to get to, like today.
Yeah.
In this unknown. This is awesome, man.
Yeah.
There is no I made it.
Right.
There is no there are goals that you meet. So for me, I did have a goal of I wanted to, because I could have quit my healthcare route early, and I said no, I want to stick it all the way through to CEO. And so I worked at that, but that's just a goal. It's not a I made it. There is no I made it. The best you can do is figure out yourself enough to where you, like you say, you can maintain that peace no matter what happens to you. That's an I made it moment, right?
Yeah.
Where you've learned from your struggle, some people hit rock bottom to get there, but then from there it's just this never always approaching but never getting there. just living life and enjoying it. But there is no I made it, you know. You're gonna
Yeah.
you're gonna enjoy your kids, you're gonna enjoy this, you're gonna enjoy that, and then you die. So just pack it full of as many enjoyment moments as you can.
And I think in the Bible where it talks about rejoice always.
Yeah, absolutely.
Rejoice
Always.
always.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'll
So
tell you
Isaac, I want to
this,
close.
when I
Go
when
ahead.
I hit my goal of CEO, you know, that for me, that feels like a I made it moment that most people have.
Okay.
Nobody cared.
Oh,
Nobody,
man.
nobody was like, "Hey, hey,
You've
you
done it.
did it." Life didn't come down and say, "Congratulations,"
Mm, mm.
because it's not.
So Isaac,
Taking him again.
I want to close, but I got to say this, man.
Oh, man.
This has been really good.
Mm.
You know, Garen and I were talking last week, and one of the things I called him about just randomly one day is this concept of, as I've changed and transitioned seasons, the people I thought would be supporters have not necessarily been the level of support or the support I thought they would be. And I'm talking about people who are, they're in your life through blood, they're in your life through, you know, hard relationships that are not severed. They're unseverable. And what I told him, and it was just a thought that came to mind, right? Is truly the people in each season that are there to help and support you will reveal themselves when you get there. But the expectations that the people who have been in your life or a part of your life will show up the same way in each season is something you have to almost put to bed. Or else you
Yeah.
will be in a constant state of disappointment.
Yep.
You will be looking for support, you'll be looking for attaboys, you'll be looking for we're proud of yous, and you'll get radio silence. You'll be like, well, what in the world
Right.
is going on? Like, what is happening? So
Yeah, you
another
feel lonely.
video. That's another video. So I want to close with this.
Yeah.
Please tell the audience, Isaac, how you got to the place where you can say, I can manage my peace
Whew.
so that everything around it is not infiltrating it in a way that throws me off of where I want to be or need to be.
So first of all, you have to experience lack of peace.
Mm.
And the reason why I start there is because I had a great childhood. Middle class family, dad was in the home, great support system, great church system. So it took me a long time, longer than most people, to achieve no peace, to get to a place where there's no peace. And it was a bit jarring for me. But you have to get there before you can ask the next question, which is the answer to your question is, what is the source of that lack? What is causing that that lack of peace? What is the
Yeah.
source? What is the source? And then how are you reacting to it? Because your reaction is what's creating the lack of peace. Not there's a trigger and your reaction. And that's what I learned from counseling. I mean, I went to counseling through my years of divorce, getting to divorce. It's just learning yourself enough to know what is it. And so what's important to me is I go through these phases. I'll just be honest with you. Probably about once a month, I'll get in a funk. I just cannot get up and do things. Um, Luckily, you know, it's not a day where it's something serious had to happen, I had to accomplish, but I just lay around trying to figure out what caused it.
Mm.
What was the trigger? And then once I figure it out, I'm able to respond to it. And that brings me back to peace. And so being able to don't blame the trigger. Well, if she just hadn't have done this or he just hadn't have done that. No. Once I figure it out, now I control my response. And there's varying responses that your friends and counselors can help you with getting to that are peace producing, not
Yeah.
blame and well let me do something drastic to just get that person out of my life. Or
Yeah.
let me send a text that just tells them how I feel about them. No.
Yeah.
That's not it.
So I see that as, or restating that, I see that as, in order to have peace, you had to get stronger. And what I mean by that is stronger mentally, stronger in your resolve, stronger in your resilience. And that comes from hitting that place where you recognize consistent, a consistent place of not being at peace isn't healthy. And I now have to take control over what I can control to strengthen myself to build that wall.
Yeah.
Build that wall that things can't come from the outside in to infiltrate.
No, I think they still come.
Oh, they come.
It's just
But
how you respond.
that's exactly
Your
right.
spot.
So
That's it.
stuff will hit the wall. Stuff will hit the wall. A brick or two may fall, but how you respond to that, right? Going from laying in bed for a week to laying in bed for 3 days to laying in bed for a day
Mhm.
to responding
That's
to that in 6 hours, 3 hours, 1 hour.
Yeah.
And now I can look at that instantaneously and say, I know where that's coming from. I'm
Yep.
good.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
That's the progressive strengthening of the emotional fortress, right? Yeah, I'm not talking about shielding away and not being a
Yeah,
person who can share
yeah.
emotion, but
No,
I'm talking
because
about, I believe Isaac's talking about getting to a place where you are now in control of how you absorb things in and you reflect things back out.
you are a conscious creator of your days, man.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what I always try to work into my conversations with Black men especially is it's okay to feel lonely, insecure, fear, depressed. It happens. We are the most, ah man, in America, it takes the most for a Black man to succeed. Let me just say it like that. There's a most against us, right?
Mm.
So we create these hard exterior shells, and when these feelings of loneliness, insecurity comes up, we try to ignore it, we push it down. And what I say to most Black men is, sit with it, man. Sit with it. Ask
Yeah,
Talk about that.
it's that
talk
analogy.
to
We
someone
sit in it.
about it. Be very wise about who that is. Not everyone can handle it, but find
Yeah.
someone to just say, hey, even if all you say was, man, yesterday was bad, but I'm good now.
Yeah.
Yo, if I could say this, man, that day that James and I spoke this past week, when we got off the call, I was still troubled and very I was going through a lot of emotions on the inside because I called him saying, brother, I'm experiencing some anxiety, right? And we spoke about it. I pull up to one of my clients and I'm still feeling the emotion. And as I pull up, I see these gentlemen, 3 guys coming out of their pickup truck, pulling out some fishing poles out of the back of their truck. And at that moment in time, I still felt like I needed community. I needed to talk to somebody, man. I saw these 3 strangers and they are disheveled looking brothers, right? Okay. But as I got out of my truck, I said, excuse me, brothers. And I had to walk probably a good, I don't know, 50 yards to get to them. So I called out to them, brothers, excuse me. Walked over to them and I said, and as I was speaking to them, I'm like, yo, it's a beautiful day out. I know this is random, but it seems as though you brothers are going to going to fish. What's that like for you, man? Like, how does that make you feel? And these guys looked at me and I'm like, I know it's random, but I'm on the brink of tears, man. And they're like, oh, it's like therapy for us, man. I mean, we come out here, we get to enjoy each other. We just sit on the side. We don't even have to catch any fish, but we're just hanging out here, man. And they were like, man, it's gonna be all right, my man. It's gonna be all right.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, I was on the brink of tears, but I felt safe in myself enough to approach strangers,
Hmm.
enough to put them on a stage to say, listen, man, I need help. Like in this moment, I need some help. And I gave these brothers a voice to share and to speak life into me in this moment, trusting they were going to give me something. And even if they didn't, I would be okay. I think I caught myself and I said, me being in that space, me being or feeling that way about this moment, being vulnerable, trusting, that was the awareness that I'm talking about,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
That's
Where I
good.
could,
That's
you
beautiful.
know, so I hear you, man, and that work, that inner work, that you going to counseling, me going to therapy, all of this, man, I think it really allows us to now experience life differently. There's all this abundance, all these answers, these resources around us that we in the past weren't aware that they were there,
Yeah.
but they're there for us.
It was just
So
pushing,
I get to,
hacking it
yeah.
down, ignoring it, and pushing it. My therapist gave me a great construct. It's not for everybody, but she said, be a third person in the room. So there's
Mm.
when you experience whatever it is, there's you, the feeling, and then you be that third person that's looking at both of those and saying, okay, what is the feeling?
Yeah, just
Why are you here? What am
Yeah.
I to do with it? And now you're looking at yourself saying, okay, now what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? How are we gonna respond to this?
Yeah. There's a book called The Untethered Soul. I don't know if you've ever read it,
No, I
but
haven't.
it speaks to that same type of concept where you see you see yourself outside of yourself, and now
Yes,
you can
yes,
make some really clear decisions based
yeah,
on what you see.
yeah, yeah.
It's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
Well, Isaac, man, I can't thank you enough for the conversation. I wish I could say this will be the last time you come on. I will clearly ask you again to come on.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed
You're
it.
an incredible guest. We always have wonderful conversations. Garen, thank you again for adding to what we're doing here today. And to our audience, I hope you were able to feel and take part in this wide-ranging conversation with my good friend Isaac Palmer. Thank you for your engagement with the growth mindset. We have more of this in the pipeline. There's some additional exciting guests that we'll be bringing to you here shortly after the series with Isaac Plays. And again, this is a platform where we are growing, we're becoming better, and we're trying to bring to you valuable discussions that will help transform your life. Thank you very much and have a
Thank you.
wonderful day.